Hola, hola a todos. Bienvenidos a un nuevo en vivo. Welcome to a new live stream. Today we're going to talk about different ways to say to find out in Spanish. Okay, to find out is a very common English verb. And in Spanish, there are different ways to say that, or just different verbs to say that specifically. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you can get notified every time I live stream. Also, I want to give a big shout out to our members, to our Cafecito members, Christopher, Michael, Raymond, Sather, William Lopez, David Beaver, KS. Thank you guys. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to become a Cafecito member, you can do that by clicking on the join button down below. I have only one membership on this channel, and that's the Cafecito membership. There are different perks when getting that. And also, it's like less than $3. So that helps a lot to this channel, even though it's not too much money, but it just helps a lot. So if you get a chance and if you like what I do, please just check that out. Okay, so remember that we are live streaming, so you can use the live chat and communicate with me. You can interact with me. I see KS is in the house. Hello, KS. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Un día cuando me convierta en marido, espero que mi futuro tenga un hijo. Interesting. Thank you so much for sharing, KS, and welcome. Bienvenido. Okay, so let's get started. As I said before, we're going to learn some different ways to say to find out in Spanish, different verbs. Specifically, we will learn 7 different ways to say that. Some are phrases. Some of them are phrases. Some of them are verbs. They also have different meanings, of course, other than to find out. But we will talk about that. And if you have any questions, please just let me know. Okay, so how do you say to find out in Spanish? One way, and a very common one, is enterarse. Enterarse. This means to find out. So that's the literal translation of to find out, enterarse. So this one is a very good one. This one you really need to learn. And of course, this is a reflexive verb because we're adding se, that pronoun, or reflexive pronoun at the end of the verb. Enterarse. So if you don't know about reflexive verbs and pronouns, please check that out. I have a lesson actually about that. So just browse my channel and you will be able to find that lesson. Okay, enterarse means to find out, literally. So let's look at some example using this verb. Él se enteró, present tense, que iba a ser papá. Él se enteró que iba a ser papá. Remember the accent marks? Because if you don't have an accent mark there, specifically here and here, the intonation changes. Instead of, if we didn't have the accent mark, it would read like entero, entero, okay? And entero means something completely different. So if we add the accent mark, then it reads entero, entero, okay? And same with papá. Papá, with the accent mark, sounds like that. Papá, pa, pa. But if you remove the accent mark, then it reads papa, papa. Papa without an accent mark means potato. And if you add the accent mark, then it means father, okay, or dad. Well, father. I mean, it's quite similar. Papa can mean dad, father. And yeah, it's very interesting. So remember the accent marks. This means, or this phrase means, he found out that he was going to be a dad. He was going to be a dad, okay? So in this case, entero means found out, okay? So this is a very good way to say, to find out, enterarse. Of course, you need to know the conjugation of this verb. And yes, today we're just gonna talk about the meanings, okay? We're not gonna talk about conjugation. Oops, sorry about that. So let's just erase this. Now, the next verb is averiguar. 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 And this means to find out as well. Okay? It's similar to investigate, to find out. You really need to know more about something, okay? Averiguar. Remember that the V sound in Spanish is very similar to the B as in bell in English. So don't worry about, oh my God, how should I pronounce this letter, V? Just pronounce it as B as in bell. Averiguar. Averiguar means to find out. Now, let's read the example. ¿Averiguaste qué pasó? ¿Averiguaste qué pasó? And this means, did you find out what happened? So this is a very good verb because it's, if you don't want to sound repetitive in Spanish, it's a good idea to know different ways to say the same thing. So if you want to use a different verb other than enterarse, you can use averiguar. Averiguar, and that means to find out. Averiguaste means did you find out? Okay, so this is quite interesting. I see someone else on the live chat. Umei Calmei, hola, hace mucho tiempo sin verte, sin ver. Good. Welcome, Umei. I'm glad you're here, and it's great. Okay, so let's move on. Verb number 2, or rather a phrase. Verb/phrase, because we have two words. The first one is a verb, and then cuenta is a noun. And when you read it, it reads darse cuenta. Darse cuenta. Darse is a reflexive verb. If you remove the se, this pronoun, then you have dar. Dar means to give, okay? But when you say darse cuenta and you use dar as a reflexive verb, then that means to realize, okay? You're realizing something is happening. You're finding out that something is happening. So the translation is to realize, but it's similar to find out as well. Okay, so let's read an example. Me di cuenta que él no me amaba. Me di cuenta que él no me amaba. And this means I realized or found out that he didn't love me. Okay, so this is a sad situation, but it happens, it happens in the real world. And darse cuenta means to realize, to find out, just to know what's going on, okay? Darse cuenta. Me di cuenta que, and then you add your sentence, the rest of the sentence. Me di cuenta que, you can add que as well to the phrase. Me di cuenta que, and then add the rest of whatever you want to say, okay? In this situation, we're talking about someone who's not loving someone else, okay? So, very interesting. This is a very good phrase, very commonly used in the Spanish world. So, you should totally add this to your vocabulary. Okay. The next one, guys, verb number 4. We have 7, by the way. Today, we're going to have a short lesson, but it's very useful, very helpful. Okay, so the next verb is descubrir. 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 And this means to discover. So that's the main meaning of this verb, to discover. But in Spanish, it can also mean to find out. Okay, so you're discovering something, you didn't know something, and you found out whatever, something. So it's very similar, to discover, to find out. Specifically in Spanish, descubrir can be used in that way. You can use it if you want to say to discover, or also if you want to say to find out. Okay, so let's read the example. I see Umay Calamay says, short lesson, but so meaty. Yes, indeed. It's a good lesson. I mean, there's nothing wrong with short lessons, right? So I just want you to know as much as possible in a short period of time. And also I want to talk about different verbs, different Spanish verbs, of course, and how to use them. So you know how to, in what situation, or if you have different situations, then you can use many different verbs. Okay, so descubrir, to discover. Now, let's read the example. He descubierto. Descubierto. We have the verb here. Just gonna do it better. He descubierto que van a despedir a la secretaria. He descubierto que van a despedir a la secretaria. So this means I found out that the secretary is going to be fired. Oh my goodness. So you found out, gossip, you found out that the secretary is going to be fired. So you can use the verb descubrir. My arrows are always so bad. You can use descubrir if you just found out something, okay? You can also use it, as I said before, if you want to say to discover. So that's very interesting. Okay, verb or phrase, verb and phrase number 5. Okay, so this reads conocer más. Conocer más. And we have a verb. The first word is a verb. And más. Más means more. Conocer, you're technically saying to find out more. Okay, so this is a very common phrase to say to find out more. For example, you could say, conoce más acerca de los beneficios del agua. Conoce más acerca de los beneficios del agua. And this means find out more about the benefits of water. Okay, so if you need to say find out more in Spanish, you can say conoce más. Conoce más. And this is a very helpful phrase for sure. You need to know the conjugation of the verb conocer, okay, if you want to use this phrase. So far so good. Yo conozco, tú conoces, él conoce, and so on. Okay. Now, this is a different way to say to find out more, okay? Saber más. So the previous one was conocer más. This one is saber más. Saber más. This means to find out more or to know more about something, okay? For example, necesito saber más acerca de Miguel. Okay, maybe a person is very interested in Miguel for some reason. So this person could be saying or could say, necesito saber más acerca de Miguel. This means necesito means I need to find out more or to know more, okay, about. Acerca means about Miguel. De Miguel. So acerca de is very similar to about. And you can say that in Spanish, of course. Necesito saber más acerca de Miguel. I need to find out more. I need to know more about Miguel. Okay? So that was phrase. Of course, you need to know the conjugation of this verb, saber. Yo sé, tú sabes, él sabe, nosotros sabemos, ustedes saben, okay? And so on. There's so many tenses, so many moods in Spanish. So yeah, interesting. Saber más, to find out more or to know more. The last one, guys, Okay, I see something is going on the live chat. Que says, los detectives se dan cuenta de quién fue el verdadero cerebro. Yeah, that's a great example. Thank you for sharing, KS. Umei Kalamei, acerca de is same meaning of sobre and de. Acerca de, sobre de. Yes, they're very similar. Acerca de and sobre de. Yes, that's correct. Those two phrases are very similar. They mean about. They're very similar to about. So yeah, you could say necesito saber más sobre de Miguel, but in this situation, I would say acerca de. So acerca de is very, very similar to about. Sobre de can be used in some situations. But acerca de, as far as I know, is more commonly used if you want to say about, okay? So yeah, that's a great question, Umei. Okay, last one, guys. Last one. Indagar. This sounds more complicated. This is a very interesting verb because if you use it in Spanish, man, you're gonna sound like you know Spanish, okay? Indagar means to investigate or to find out more about something, okay? So it's very similar to the other phrases that we just learned. Acerca de saber más and conocer más, okay? But indagar is very similar to investigate. So that's the translation of indagar, to investigate. But also in some situations, it can mean to find out more about. So either way, I mean, those two meanings are very related to indagar. So you can use it if you want to say to investigate or to find out more about something, okay? So, for example, deberíamos indagar más sobre el caso. And here we're using sobre. Okay, you may. You were asking about that, acerca de, sobre. Okay, sobre and de. Okay, I can see the question. Sobre de, no, it's sobre and de, like you said. Okay, okay, I got it. So yes, sobre can be used just like acerca de. And I would say acerca de and sobre are similar. So sobre in this situation means about. So that's so funny. You were talking about that, Umay. I have an example with this word, sobre. Sobre can also mean envelope in Spanish or about. If you use de, quiero saber más de. Well, in this situation, it has to be del because you don't say de él. You say del. You kind of get the two words together and they become del instead of de él. And yeah, so technically you can say, you can use acerca de, sobre, and de. So you're correct, Umay. That's great. That's great. Oh my God, that was a great question. Okay, so yes, you can say acerca de, sobre, or de. In this situation, del. Okay, so let's just have sobre like it was before. So deberíamos indagar más sobre el caso. We should investigate or find out more about the case. Okay, so if there's an investigation, someone can say this, and it's very, very common in Spanish. So yeah, guys, this was the last verb, indagar. Indagar, that means to investigate, to find out more about something. And now we learned, or now you know 7 different ways to say to find out in Spanish. It's very interesting that you can say the same things in different ways. And it's very important that you learn all of this because that way you won't sound repetitive in Spanish, and that's something good. That's something really good. Okay, so do you guys have any questions? ¿Tienen preguntas? Okay, so Umay says, averiguar and indagar, I don't usually hear it, or I just hear it because they talk fast. Okay, yeah, in Spanish, I mean, a lot of Spanish speakers, they talk really fast. I know it can be challenging. And then on top of that, there are different accents. The accent from Spain, the accent from Mexico, the one from Chile, Argentina. So yeah, there are so many different accents, and each country has more accents. So it gets very challenging, I know. And yeah, averiguar and indagar are very common in Spanish. So yeah, those are good ones for sure. Okay, Umei also says, thank you for noticing my question. I always listen to your YouTube, even I have not attended your live stream. Thank you so much, Umei. I'm glad. I mean, your question was great. And I like answering questions. Of course, that's why I live stream. And thank you for your nice comment, Umei. And I don't know if you have any questions. I mean, I think it was pretty clear. Umei. Usually they use busco, and I just lately know the averiguar when I am reading some of Spanish books. Yes. Buscar means to find. It's a little different. It's a different verb. Buscar means to find. Like if you need to find your keys, you would use the verb buscar. Necesito buscar mis llaves. I need to find my keys. Okay. If you want to say to find out, it's a bit different. As you now know, you can use 7 different verbs for that. But yeah, buscar is a great verb as well. Umei says, will it weird if use averiguar instead of buscar? Would it be weird if we use averiguar instead of buscar? Yes, those two verbs are completely different. Averiguar is more like to investigate, to find out. And buscar, as I said, that one means to find. If you need to find something or someone, okay? So it's more about, just if you need to find a person because that person is missing or because you need to ask something to that person, you can use buscar. Necesito buscar a Miguel. I need to find Miguel. I don't know, to ask something if you need to ask something. But if you say necesito averiguar a Miguel, that sounds like you need to investigate Miguel because he's doing something fishy or something like that. So, yeah. Yes, it depends on the situation, of course. So yes, that's a great thing. Umei says, maybe I will use those words with your colleagues and surprise them, him, that I am using new words that I learned here. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I think that you should totally do that because that's how you practice Spanish. Don't be shy. Just practice your Spanish. Make mistakes because that's how you learn. That's how you practice. And making mistakes is part of the learning experience for sure. So yeah, don't be shy. Just practice your Spanish here with your friends, colleagues. I mean, yeah, whatever you want to do. Or, I mean, whenever you want to practice, it's obviously up to you. But that said, guys, Umei, your English is great. Your English is great. I mean, you're learning Spanish, and I'm not sure if English is your native language. But you probably know 3 languages, so that's great. That's amazing. So thank you so much for sharing your comments, for asking questions on the live chat. Thank you so much for that. And that's it. Remember, guys, that you can subscribe. And also, I mean, if you like what I do, please subscribe. If you don't want to miss out all the live streaming and my videos, just you should subscribe. If you're not subscribed yet, you should. Also click on the bell icon, the bell notification thingy, so you can get notified every time I live stream. I usually live stream every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So now you know. And also another way to support this channel is by giving the thumbs up. That helps me a lot. And if you want to become a member, please just click on the join button down below. You can also join our Spanish community on Discord. You can find the link in the video description down below. That one is for free, guys. So if you want to chat with others in Spanish, if you need to ask questions, or if you just want to say hello or read what's going on, if you want to read everything that other people are talking about Spanish, you can do that. You can join our Spanish community on Discord. Okay, so take care, be safe, cuídense mucho, y espero que esta lección haya sido de utilidad. Okay, I'll see you later next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Adios.